So we've got some huge MOCO news coming in following the latest KPI posted by the team. And I'm just going to read everything in the KPI so you guys can see firsthand what the team's working on, what the plans are for MOCO. And believe me when I say this, forget MOCO as you know it, because it's going to be basically completely reinvented by the looks of things. So we've got the KPI here. It starts off saying, hey everyone, so things have been calm, too calm. So I guess it's time to shake things up. Is this our most important announcement since launch? Definitely. Expect big news, big changes. A setback, unavoidable unfortunately, which we all expected. But most importantly, we want to hear from you. We're building this game with your thoughts in mind, showing things as they truly are. No BS, no sugarcoating, just raw facts fueled by lots of MOCO love and passion for monster hunting. And I'm just going to read over this KPI as it is. And then over the next few days, I'm going to be sharing my 100% honest review of this KPI and what the update's going to look like. So subscribe and turn on notice if you want to stay up to date with that. Aiming to post that on Sunday or Monday, guys. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So a bit of history. Before diving into the big news, let's start with a very historical context, especially for our newer hunters. After years of development, including the show public beta in 2023, we finally launched MOCO globally on March the 18th, 2025, with invite-only access. While it wasn't perfect, reception was amazing. Great game, engaging, atmospheric, chef's kiss soundtrack, can't stop playing. This list goes on. But then we noticed something. Those who fell in love at first were either dropping after a few weeks or burning through all content quite fast, struggling to find reasons to keep playing. That is an issue in the game, yep. On June 16th, we dropped Chapter 2, including a bunch of new maps, monsters, gear, a few not so well received changes and adjustments to Chapter 1's progression. We were eager to see how that would land, especially with new players. And while it improved in some areas, it didn't quite hit the mark, or at least not our very ambitious mark. Building a game that is played for many years and remember forever. Until we get there, here's a quick refresher on how we're operating. Promote the game as aggressively as we can just to bring as many players as possible, so they're not doing that, which we all know. Prioritize continuous development guided by your experiences and feedback, which the team is doing that, hence the KPI in this sort of highlight to what the team's working on. And that brings us to today, getting feedback. Over the past few months, we've been gathering feedback from lots of sources, our daily Reddit dives, scrolling through Discord, MOCO feedback forums, social media comments, creator feedback, surveys, play tests, chat with current players, old players, Supercell's colleagues from other games, friends, family, our kids' friends, from as many types of players as possible. It's impossible to reply or thank each of you individually, but we will never get tired of appreciating your love and thoughtful feedback. Really, thank you. And while feedback comes in many forms, a few big issues stood out and got stuck in our developers' brains more than others. That being, gameplay feels repetitive, progress doesn't feel meaningful, losing progress at season end sucks, the game isn't social enough, poor matchmaking plus too many bots, lack of updates, lack of content, and believe me guys, later on in this KPI, the info that I'm going to reveal and what the team's working on, insane. There are definitely other areas that need love as well, but it seems like these are the big ones affecting the most players. Therefore, they will be our top priorities for the next few months and acting on it. Let's face it, our current system isn't quite working. Launching Chapter 3 would add more content, always exciting, but it wouldn't address our core issues. Social features could definitely improve your shared gameplay experience to an extent. Matchmaking could improve with the massive marketing rampage, which we're avoiding for now, but only up to a point. In fact, the more chapters we add, the more players get spread out across maps. Ergo, poorer matchmaking, which kind of makes sense. So yes, there are definitely improvements to be made, but the question remains, is the Chapter plus Elite Hunter Season combo the way to go, or do we need to make bigger and more meaningful changes? And this is where the good stuff starts. What's the way to go then? I know you want the juicy stuff. We don't have the whole juice yet. Still blending it into that perfect vitamin-packed consistency. But we do have a fruity direction we're trying out. So here is the plan for now. By chapters, hello, seasons. We're moving from chapter-based to season-based in short, replacing permanent content with rotating events and frequent refresh, daily, weekly, or bi-weekly. Here's a very early alpha UI sneak peek of what a season could look like. And then we've got a little image there of kind of what the team's working on, the direction they want to go in. So it looks like they're getting rid of the reset, the chapters, and going for this sort of new look, which kind of looks cool in my opinion. We can see like special event, the showdown, infested forest there, 5 jobs, overlord's chamber, season finale, broken pact, which kind of looks like what you've got to play through. But honestly, look, it looks really cool. I like this idea. How would seasons help solve our main issues? Feedback: gameplay is repetitive. Answer: our goal is to refresh content and quests daily and weekly, all supported by a narrative that leads to an epic season ending, which sounds awesome. It really does sound cool. Seasons would probably last 1 to 2 months, while events could run anywhere from 24 hours to a couple of weeks. By adding more content and more varied content, we are looking to make the gameplay more dynamic and engaging. Sounds exciting. F: loss of progression at season end sucks. A: we're looking to remove most of, if not all, of progress reset. Your level will be permanent, tied to a mastery track and something else, but more on that later. Which sounds awesome. I really like this idea. I didn't mind the reset, and I know there was a lot of people in the community that really disliked it. So it looks like they are removing that from the game. F: game isn't social enough. Poor matchmaking. With rotating content, players naturally focus on what's new and fresh, which means matchmaking is funneled into fewer events rather than spread across tons of maps. That should also improve the social side of the game, since everyone is playing the same events. And like they just said there, they're looking to even run some that are going to last 24 hours, so which means more active players in that player base. Lack of updates, lack of content. Expect fresh content every week by running season events. We can deliver more maps and more variety instead of being limited to the fixed chapter structure, depending on new monsters and worlds to launch a full chapter. Has slowed our update pace more than we'd like. We'll focus, of course, to bring you new monsters and worlds as often as possible. But with this approach, we can use our content with new twists, keeping experience fresh and adapting to your feedback. Again, sounds great. Buy gear kits. Hello, classes. Now, this is where it gets interesting for me. We're moving from separate gear, weapons, gadgets, passives, and rings to classes. How would it work? Each class would be a complete predefined build. Expect different and distinguishable features and unique gameplay mechanics. For example, an electrician build that plays heavily with electricity against monsters. Some are easy to use, others are a bit harder, but also more versatile and with a higher skill ceiling, which is what I like to hear. Each weapon, gadget, and passive is unique to its class, forming a complete set. This means we can be more creative with them and make them more synergic. Synergic? I didn't know that was a word, but there you go. This will allow you for more varied gameplay with bigger skill expression. E.g., conjure an electric chain and then use your electrified monster slugger to unleash a wave of chain damage. Each class would have its own permanent progress with cosmetic rewards, badges, and more. Collect classes as you play. More classes equals more gameplay dynamics. So it looks like they're getting rid of personalized builds that obviously we currently have in the game now, and they're going for predefined builds, which initially I don't know how I feel about that. You know, you lose a bit of control in the game, but on the other side of the coin, makes things a lot more fairer, I guess, and more simple, especially without the season reset and things. So this is one I kind of think I'm going to have to reserve for judgment, but like I said, I'm going to talk more in detail about this in a video I'm going to be posting in a few days, so stay tuned for that. So I'm not going to ramble on too much about my thoughts about what we're reading here today, guys. Oh, and here's some early alpha footage of how classes would look like, and then we've got an image, someone running with a spinsicle, and that doesn't really reveal a lot, to be honest, guys. What issues does this address? Gameplay is repetitive. While classes may reduce build personalization, we counter that with lots of different classes. So that's what I was just saying there, everyone. Like, you're losing that sort of personal thing inside the game, but there's going to be a lot of different classes. Looks like the plan. Each with its own very unique play style. Classes will also create better team synergies and dynamics. Think DPS, tank, healer, but deeper. And this is something the game has really missed. You know, I've done videos on it before, and this is how the game feels like it should be played, but isn't quite there. It's a bit messy. But the way the team wants to implement this now feels like it could go in that direction, which I'm really a fan of. This should also improve both your social experience by combining the best classes with teammates. Progress feels meaningless. This is still a work in progress, and we'll have much more to share about it in the future, so bear with us. For now, the biggest shift is moving from mostly temporary to fully permanent. Collecting classes will just be your first step, as each one will have its own progress track. Complete them for cool cosmetics rewards, and of course to satisfy that completionist itch. On top of that, all class progress will also contribute to your main progress, your permanent player level, and its own progression track, which sounds really cool as well. And then we've got an image here, Hunter career track. We've got a badge, level 2. Monster Hunter, whatever that is, track here. Monsters Hunted, sorry, level 3. Outfit there, level 4. So it looks like the team is putting in some work here, revamping this game, hence the delays. Classes will help make the game easy to get into, meaning no need to stress about the best build. Instead, strategy would shift towards questions like, what's the best class for this rift? Which classes work well together? How can I make the best use of my class weapons and gadget synergies to optimize my gameplay? Which, when you put it like that, does sound a lot better. We know it's a big change and it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but we're excited to hear your thoughts on this one. Again, guys, you get whatever I'm saying in this KPI, let me know your thoughts in the comment section regarding this, because there's a lot of changes in progress, it looks like. So you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. Bye-bye power progression. To keep it in short, simple, we will remove power progression. Why? Game is not social enough. Removing power progression means everyone can play together regardless of level. This removes a huge blocker for social play, which is an absolute W. Gameplay is repetitive. Without power progression, you're free to explore classes and maps, dojos, rifts, without worrying about being overpowered. Again, sounds like another massive W. Lack of content. All content available at all times. No need to reach higher levels to try the new rift. Again, a massive W when you read it. Only skill matters, which opens the door to more meaningful leaderboards. With the little eye emoji. I know that was missed in the community when they took them out for chapter 2. And again, massive W. So kind of like everything I'm reading, I'm loving in a way. Important, all of these classes, seasons, no power progression is still very early and subject to change. We're sharing these thoughts with you as we're super happy to hear your feedback. It will be vital in shaping what's to come. So it is something Supercell always does. It's not set in stone. It is the direction I want to go in, but there might be little changes here and there, so do bear that in mind, everyone. Wait, is there a catch? Are you adding pay to win or pay to progress? Nope. 100% cosmetic only monetization. We're super bullish on this one, which is still great to hear. You know, free to play game, make the money through cosmetics. Absolute awesome there. So what happens to chapter 3? So yeah, we're talking about changes. Now let's talk about the setback. As you probably guessed, Adios chapter 3. RIP. As we mentioned earlier, releasing chapter 3 without meaningful changes wouldn't really improve your experience. Your more content and small improvements. This also means big changes equals longer time to develop. So for the harsher news, no big update for the next few months. Not likely in 2025. No. Oh, this is going to be hard for me. My channel is a MOCO channel for posting content, but I do get it. I'd rather have a sort of slow growth on the channel for a few months for the game to be able to get where it needs to be in the teamwork on the game. That's my personal opinion. I think that'll be an opinion that I share with most of the people in the community. So it is going to be hard for myself, but you know, it's going to be worth it the way I look at it after reading some of this. What? Yeah, sorry about that. But why not keep updating the game and releasing chapters? This would be ideal, but also a two-edged sword. The more resources, aka people, we allocate to releasing chapters, the more time it will take to revamp the game. Our priority is to release a better and more engaging version of the game as soon as possible. One that actually solves the big problems the community has been pointing out over the last few months. It wasn't an easy decision, as it means keeping the game quite still for a few months. Yeah, it's basically just what I said there, guys. It is going to be a bit still, a bit slow, unfortunate, but it's going to be worth it, I believe. Going to be worth it, so we're just going to have to sit tight. What about my progress? Is it going to transition to the new system? To ensure a fresh start with the new progress system, everyone will begin at the same level after the revamp. We are, of course, very mindful of the time you've invested in the game. Your current progress will be taken into account, though not necessarily in a straight one-to-one way. We're already prepared in a transition plan based on your previous progress in both Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. This compensation pack will be entirely cosmetic-driven, more golden cosmetics, ensuring an even start for everyone. Once the new meta arrives, we will let you know the details as soon as ready, and the team needs to nail this, I think. Yes, I totally get everyone needs to sort of start afresh on a level playing field going into the new updated MOCO. But there's a lot of players that have invested a lot of time in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, including myself, and the team needs to nail this compensation pack, in my humble opinion. What about my cosmetics? All your cosmetics will carry over, both free and paid, so you can keep hunting monsters with style after the revamp. Same with collector level. So what's next? Lack of game updates doesn't mean we're going away. You can still expect to hear from us frequently, perhaps showcasing new classes here and there, so keep your eyes peeled. We'll try our best to reach out to you at least once a month, even if it's a one-liner saying we're still going strong, as we will be. And a small update is coming in October with a few fixes and a bunch of balance changes, mostly buffs. That's great to hear. Hopefully it makes these Nightmare Rifts sub 2 minutes much easier. Next steps, AMA. If you've got questions for us, no matter how uncomfortable, drop them in the comments below. As long as they're relevant to MOCO, not provocative or insulting, we're happy to answer the most upvoted ones. I'll gather a couple of team members and sit them down for a short video cast. That's what's cool in 2025, right? I think so. This podcast will be shot next week to be posted on our YouTube channel by early October. We'll answer the 10 most upvoted questions under this Reddit post, the 10 most liked questions under the X Twitter announcement, and the 10 most upvoted questions on our official Discord server. About weekly events, since most of our team will be focused on the revamp, weekly events may scale down, likely repeating some past events. That said, it looks like Jow, will be learning how to design them soon, so maybe we can do something special together. That sounds pretty cool. Let's see, this will be my Hold My Energy drink. I'll design an event kind of moment, so keep expectations nice and low. We also be scaling down premium cosmetics, mostly featuring colour variations in the shop or shard hunt. Weekly events won't have a premium pass during the revamp period. A final note, we know the wait is going to suck, but we'll do everything we can to make sure it's worth it. Thank you for sticking with us or taking a break and coming back later. We'll talk soon. Hugs and ladybugs. MOCO team, so a lot of info to digest there, guys. Like I said, I'm going to be working on a video to discuss this in more detail and post it over the next couple of days. In the meantime, you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, because there's a lot to get through. There's a lot to digest. The future looks bright for MOCO, I think, in my humble opinion, but let's see.